Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know if OpenAI, did they pay people to go to the last one? Is that what happened? Has some ringers in the audience or something? Kind of fill them up. If you're here to learn about drones, you're at the right place. My name is Jim Cox. I'm with Skydio. I'm a solutions engineer. With me, I've got my partner, Ryan, one of our channel managers. We're talking to you today a little bit about Skydio, some of the things that we're doing in multiple spaces to bring this technology to bear. I'm gonna go ahead and launch. How's that? So we're a little bit limited in what we can do inside of this venue, but we still want to be able to showcase some of the features. So we're going through some of the bells and whistles of the drone. Give you a little taste. Our booth is actually right over there. So when we're done with this, you can stop by for some questions if you have any. We're going to come back on stage. I think we'll do a break, half hour, come back, and we'll show a different aspect, show you some of our dock operations and remote operations that we have for our system. What you're seeing right now is the Skydio X10. That is our latest offering, right? Um, if I could show you that about 3 years ago, we came out with the X2. This is this bird right here, right? Was designed to compete for the Army Short Range Reconnaissance program, and it did, and it won. Kind of put us on the map and got us down range. You will see this type of drone, this actual system, in all of the branches of the military, um, in most of your federal civilian organizations, like DHS, DOJ, Department of State, Public Safety. We also use them for commercial and enterprise uses as well, right? Um, Prior to coming to Skydio, I've been with Skydio for 2 years. Prior to my tenure with with Skydio, I was with U.S. Border Patrol for 25 years. The latter part of my career, I spent standing up the CBP SUAS training program. We did that out in a location called Summit Point, West Virginia. We fielded the Skydio drone, this actual system, into our inventory. I was sold on its capabilities then, and even more so on the customer service that you receive on the back end of this thing. But what we know when we develop a product is the good, the bad, the ugly. Last year, I traveled to probably 18 countries and integrated with or interfaced with a lot of end users. We take that information back and we said, "Hey, we can make a better drone," and that's where you're going to see this thing. Oh yeah. So what sets Skydio apart from any other drone manufacturers is the smartest drone on the market, right? As you can see, if anybody is a drone aficionado, what you're seeing right now is exactly what the pilot. This is the pilot view. If you're looking on there, I've got 0 satellites, right? Most of your drones are not going to be able to take off in an environment like this, right? The drone has 3 nav cameras on the bottom, 3 nav cameras on the top. It is actually processing. We've got dual chips. We've got NVIDIA Qualcomm chips inside the drone. It's processing its environment in real time, making a billion calculations a second. It knows exactly where it's at from where it launched from. It knows what the obstacles are in front of it. It's going to be harder to see. That net kind of gives me a little problem here, but you see, I can show you where with that. So you see that the bottom there where it's kind of saying, "Hey, there's a floor," right? It's actually mapped that and said, "That's an obstacle that I want to avoid." Right? We can go from our arm length. We can reduce that to about half the arm length. We come into about 4 inches, depending on the use case that you have. We like that, and a lot of end users like that because the drone's smart, where it doesn't require an expert pilot to fly these things. As long as that camera can see what's the environment is, it's not going to crash into something, right? Huge plus. So that's one piece of the AI that we use, right? Is the nav cameras. Second to that, what we've learned with those same cameras allow us to navigate without GPS. I was able to launch right now, get in the air. We've tested this to about 900 feet. What we're seeing from a lot of locations overseas where you're going to fly into a EW, electronic warfare environment, is they're going to jam your GPS, right? So those same cameras that allow me to avoid obstacles are allowing me to navigate terrain. So we tested this at about 900 feet, where as long as I've got some differentiation on the ground, that thing, I'll use a barometer to check altitude, and it will be able to find its way to target and return home visually. And you can see that here, where you see on the user face there, you got my battery life, 78%, shows me my signal strength. And on top of that is my VIO. The system wants to fly visually before it ever goes to GPS. So as long as I've got, like your cell phone, I got those 4 bars, my visual navigation is locked in, I'm solid. If I were to, for whatever, lose the visual navigation, my GPS would kick in and it would show me those bars as well. Apart from that, it's got tracking capabilities. We use this same AI. It can track individuals. I could be up 200 feet AGL and about 300 feet offset, be able to pick up a human being and track that person. It'll also do the same with vehicles at a greater distance and stuff, right? What we're looking at on this is we're using the AI, we're using the intelligence of the drone to reduce the cognitive load of the operator. There's got multiple tasks. These people are trying to relay information out to their partners in the field, and the less they have to do with the controls, the more they're able to focus on the mission set, right? So that's one of those. For this, we move away from the right. So just picking up people, I can lock in. If you already get up and walk, it would just track that person as they moved around and stuff, right? Some of the other features we have, I can't demonstrate it now, but orbit point. Like I said, an orbit point, the drone will set on a circumference and just fly that circle and provide that information back to the operator, and then they can relay the information out. We've got Scout. The drone is able to digitally tether itself from the drone to the hand controller. We use this in big convoy operations where I need to see either fore or aft. I can set that drone at any distance, any altitude I want, and it'll stay at that constant distance. I can say stay at a fixed point. It'll stay looking at wherever my 1 o'clock is, or I can change it and say, as I turn, make sure you turn with me, right? And of course, we do waypoint missions as well. What you see on some of the big differences that we've learned from our operators, the color change, right? We went from black to a gray in order to blend in with our environment, also to keep the aircraft cooler. Just think of your cell phone or your laptop, leave it out in the sun. If it's black, it's going to track that heat and kind of reduce the battery or the life on that. So lesson learned on that. A little bit bigger. This drone is bigger. That platform is bigger than this one. Gives us an extra 5 minutes. So we're 40 minutes of flight time, which is very good for the class of system. And you can see the difference in the gimbal from the X2 to the X10. Massive gimbal sitting up on there. We went from a 12 megapixel 16x zoom to 64 megapixel 128x zoom. We've got both a narrowband lens, and then that'll transition into our telephoto lens after that. And then we stepped it up on our thermal capabilities, and that's what we'll kind of highlight that here. So we went with our FLIR Boson Plus 640 Plus thermal camera. Again, best in class for this one to allow the capabilities in nighttime as well. The drone has, like I mentioned, it has three nav cameras on top, three nav cameras on the bottom. It's creating that environment in real time. We've also been able to do that now at night. If you notice on that drone when we landed, you guys come to the booth and check this out. The drone is much more platform for attachment friendly. So I've got night sense pucks, we're calling those, on this drone right now. Those nav cameras are also equipped with IR capabilities, and that is an IR emitter. So if I turn night sense on, even if I was in an environment where I was GPS denied in nighttime, I can flip to night sense. Those IR emitter will emit that light enough for the drone to launch, and enough to I can navigate through a situation like this in this environment without hitting anyone. Right there, just transition into our telephoto. So you see that little lag, and it switches into a different. So to show you some of the capabilities of the cameras. This drone right here is our defense models, our X10D. With that, we have a multi-band radio, so we're able to operate on 6 different frequencies, and we've incorporated dynamic channel switching into our capabilities, so that if you were to get jammed or lose link on one frequency, you go ahead and pre-select and move yourself onto a frequency that is clean for that environment, right? We've also developed an external radio, external antenna, so we can connect it to our hand controller, be offset at least 100 feet, so somebody doesn't have to expose themselves or can stay inside, maybe a safer environment, and still maintain that line of sight that's required to get the distance. This radio allows us to get out to about 12 kilometers with clear line of sight. Flight time was set at like 40 minutes. So. Okay. So we're going to demo again in 30 minutes. We're going to show everything. The next thing we're going to show is kind of our dock operations. With things we've developed with these to provide support for remote ops, remote operations. We're thinking, if you heard of the drone as first responder program, things like that, where a drone will fly with beyond visual line of sight and be controlled from a command and control center. So a half hour will come up, we'll set up, we'll actually fly. We have a series of docks set up at a warehouse at our headquarters in San Francisco, in San Mateo, and we'll fly those from this location and maybe go to hand controllers and some safe environment. Let some of you guys fly this thing around too. See what it's like. So thanks for your time. We're over there if you have any more questions.